Okay, let's jump right into it. If you're here, you're looking for the cheapest option to find a rental car, and my top recommendation is autoslash.com. Throughout this video, you'll see me look down at my iPad. I just have some notes that I've jotted down. I'm not sponsored or paid by any of these companies that I'm mentioning, so these are all of my honest opinions about my search so far. So autoslash.com, it's a search engine that sends results to your email, just one email. They aren't a website that you rent directly from. It may look a little bit sketchy, but I swear it's legitimate and you can use it multiple times before your trip. The link will be in the description box. So my advice is for people living in the US and traveling within the US. Unfortunately, it's not going to provide much information for international travel. I am going on a 10-day trip soon, and as most of you know, if you're looking at this video, rental cars are super expensive right now and they're hard to find. Most likely they're more expensive than your flight cost. I use search engine sites like Kayak, Expedia, Priceline, and Costco. I also went directly to commercial car websites like Avis, Alamo, Enterprise, Budget, Thrifty, and Hertz. And it's not limited to that. I did a lot of searching. I also came across Turo.com. They are, and this will go into the nitty-gritty details of Turo, they are a peer-to-peer rental system. So it's kind of like Airbnb for cars. I've had two friends who've had really positive experiences. If you decide to go through them, just make sure you're renting from all-star hosts with a lot of high ratings and reviews. Now, there are top 5 big reasons why I decided not to go with Turo. The first one is that in the fine print, you'll notice that Turo's protection plans are secondary insurance plans. That's huge. It means that you have to exhaust your personal insurance plan before Turo's protection plan will kick in. None of the protection plans include internal or mechanical issues, and the deductible for the minimum protection plan is $3,000. If you were in an accident, Turo would immediately charge you $500 for small accidents and $3,000 for large accidents, and then they would reimburse you the difference after claims are made through your personal insurance or through Turo. Anything that happens during the rental period of your car is considered your fault. Now, some credit cards will offer primary insurance coverage on rentals, but you have to check. My personal Bank of America travel card only offers secondary insurance, and only if you decline protection from the rental company, and it only works on commercial cars listed on Turo. My Progressive Comprehensive and Collision Insurance Plan covers rental cars, including Turo cars, but it could increase your premiums if you get into an accident, and it won't cover any diminution, loss of use, or any other claims administrative costs. Diminution I'm not going to go into, that's a huge beast on its own. Loss of use basically means that if you get in an accident and the car takes 7 days to get repairs, the rental car company will calculate how much money they've lost in the 7 days that they haven't been able to rent out their car, and they'll charge it to you, which can actually really add up. Rental car insurance coverage and rental car reimbursement coverage is different, so look at your plan. Rental car insurance coverage basically means that you're covered while you're driving the rental car. But rental car reimbursement coverage means that if you are driving your personal car and you get in a wreck and you need a rental car reimbursement coverage will cover for that rental car. It gets a little sticky with the verbiage. Now, check with your personal credit cards and car insurance. Most likely, if your travel card has an annual fee, there's a higher chance that you'll have primary insurance coverage for your rental car. Now, there are also third-party insurance plans or excess insurance plans that are usually cheaper than the protection plans offered at the commercial rental car counters. It's usually like $15 a day compared to the $30 a day at the counter. Rentalcover.com is one that offers excess insurance coverage, but I've never used them, so I can't really recommend them or not. They have like a $35,000 in primary coverage with a $0 deductible and up to $7,500 for life-threatening injuries, around $12 per day. Or you can go with Allianz, which is another option. They're actually the insurance partner for the Olympics and Paralympics, so they're a really large company. They offer $75,000 in primary coverage with a $0 deductible, no health coverage unless you add the trip protection plan, and it's about $13 a day. They do cover loss of use, which is great, as we mentioned earlier. And I believe they have a cancellation period, so if you decide within that period that you don't want them, you can get a full refund, which is great. But if you're making a reservation through Priceline.com, like I eventually did, you can add it at any time before the trip. It turned out to be a no-brainer for me to go with Allianz. Now, the second reason why I wouldn't go with Turo is because there's no required car inspection prior to each customer rental. Are your fluids topped off? Do your brake pads still look in good condition? Again, any internal mechanical issues that you don't know of and that can cause a breakdown during your trip are your fault regardless of if you actually caused the issue. And again, those are not covered under any of the Turo protection plans. 3, this one's kind of like, in general, whether you have a Turo rental or a commercial rental, you're kind of required to return it in the way you received it. That makes sense. But with a commercial car, you're not typically expected to like vacuum out the car or take your car for the car wash if it's not excessively soiled. However, if you're a good Turo customer and you don't want to be hit with any fees or poor reviews after your rental, you're kind of expected to do those things so it's ready for the next customer's pickup. Do you want to spend that extra time at the end of your trip to do all those things? The 4th reason I would not use Turo is because the check-in and checkout process is inconvenient. You have to take photos before and after your rental. And what if you didn't catch any pre-existing damage in the photos and then you're charged for it afterwards for something you didn't even do? If the car is parked in an airport parking lot, which, may be an option that you can decide to opt into, you may not even be able to take accurate photos of like the sides of the cars. Now, the 5th reason why I would not use Turo is that it can be potentially very time consuming. First, the check-in, checkout process. And then potential Ubers to and from the car's location can be time consuming, whether you're waiting on the Uber, and then goodness forbid, no Ubers even available. And what if there are surcharges for Ubers at high traffic times? What if your host happens to be unresponsive when you're trying to check in or check out? What if your host cancels or the car breaks down? Then you have to find another Turo or commercial car on short notice, which can be extremely difficult if you can even find one available, and extremely expensive if you do find one available. I feel like if you have a commercial rental, there's a higher chance of getting a replacement car within their fleet than if you went with Turo, which doesn't have any real backup plan. So do you want to, in general, waste any precious time on your vacation dealing with any of that? So in summary, if you're risk averse like me, Turo may not be the best option. After I decided to go with a commercial rental, I did, again, extensive research. Hopefully I can save you from some of that. Autoslash.com's report provided me with the cheapest rental car option. When I used the link in the email, I was led to a car on Priceline.com, but it was cheaper than any I could find on my own when going directly through their website. And when you go on the website, there's like 2 prices that you'll see for the car. The first price will be a huge total cost, but you'll have free cancellation. And then the second price will be a cheaper cost, but you'll have cancellation fees. Now, when I went through the link on the Autoslash report, it gave me the cheapest price I could find with no cancellation fees. So that was awesome. In the end, for my 9-day rental, it was $600, including the Allianz protection offered at checkout, whereas with Turo, my final cost would have been around $510 when I take into account all the Ubers I'd have to use. So for less than $100 extra, I felt like my peace of mind was just worth going with a commercial rental. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If I have information, I'll definitely hit up a reply, and hopefully you found this helpful. Be safe, take care, bye-bye.